In this day and age, it seems impossible for someone to go missing. From the fact that most of us own mobile phones that can pinpoint our location, to the widespread use of CCTV, and even the advanced forensic techniques now utilized by investigators, it feels like, in theory, no one should be able to just up and disappear. But unfortunately, despite all of that, people still vanish without a trace. Join us in today's episode as we explore 3 disturbing cases of people reported missing in 2024. Elijah View. On February 12th, 3-year-old Elijah View was dropped off in Two Rivers, Wisconsin by his mother, 31-year-old Katrina Bauer. Living in Wisconsin Dell, Bauer drove over 150 miles to Two Rivers and left the toddler in the hands of her boyfriend, a 39-year-old man named Jesse Vang, who reportedly used extreme and abusive disciplinary methods on Elijah in an attempt to make him fear his mother. According to CNN, court documents showed that Bauer had sent the 3-year-old to Vang so he could teach her son, by example, how to be a man. The so-called disciplinary measures included cold showers and timeouts where Elijah was made to stand up for hours on end. Bauer would later tell investigators that she made clear to Vang what sorts of methods were not to be used against her son. Elijah stayed with Vang between February 12th and February 20th. On the 14th, a photo of him was taken by his mother who was visiting. It showed the young boy wearing a blindfold with bruising on his face. He was lying on a bed. A day later, another photo was taken, showing him standing in a corner dressed in nothing but a nappy, which was full, and his hands in a praying position. The Manitowoc DA would later allege that on the 16th, Elijah was left alone for an hour at Vang's residence. During the days leading up to Elijah's disappearance, several text messages were exchanged between Vang and Bauer. On February 18th, Vang wrote, "I told you to trust me. I'ma make sure he hates me being there." She replied, "Don't want him to hate you, just fear you." Vang noted that somebody had to be, quote, "the bad person," and Bauer responded, "I know, but either way he can fear you and respect you." Vang claimed that Elijah feared him, quote, "but he didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect me." If you will forgive this narrator a moment to editorialize, this behavior is beyond disgusting. Abusing and terrorizing a child never leads to respect, nor does it, quote, "toughen them up." It is the behavior of cowards. On the morning of February 20th, at around 7:30, Vang woke up to give Elijah breakfast, which consisted of cereal without milk. Half an hour later, the little boy was told to stand at the foot of Vang's bed and pray while Vang took a nap. According to Vang's testimony, this was the last time he saw Elijah alive. At 10:59 a.m., he called the Two Rivers Police Department to report the 3-year-old missing. An Amber Alert was subsequently issued to the residents of Two Rivers, and that afternoon, volunteers gathered to help search for the little boy. Outbuildings, vehicles, fields, and storm drains were thoroughly checked for any signs of Elijah. Police used drones and scent dogs to aid with the search, but no trace of the 3-year-old was found. Jesse Vang was arrested that evening, while Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, was arrested the following day, having changed her story about her son's whereabouts several times while speaking with police. Over the next few days, the search for Elijah continued, eventually involving the FBI, the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigators, and numerous county sheriff's offices. Dive teams searched waterways, and on February 26th, a local landfill was examined for clues. the FBI announced a $15,000 reward for information, while Elijah's other family members pleaded with the public for information, noting, quote, "The pain is indescribable. We cannot express our sorrow or the desperation that consumes us. To anyone with information on Elijah's whereabouts, we plead with you to please come forward." They added that his unexplained absence is, quote, "a torment no family or child should ever face." While Bauer was initially charged with party to a crime, child neglect, further charges of obstruction were added 6 days after Elijah disappeared. On March 7th, she appeared in court to appeal against her $15,000 bond. Her own mother wrote a letter to the court, noting her daughter's pattern of behavior, poor judgment, and lack of responsibility. She wrote, quote, "Her story always depends on her audience. At this time, rather than aligning in locating her son, she feels the need to reiterate what a good guy Jesse is and fully defending him and his actions. By aligning with him, she could potentially have access to his extended family and ability to flee the area." She added, "I don't feel it's worth the risk to lower her bond, especially as Elijah has not been found and many questions remain unanswered." Bauer's appeal was ultimately rejected, and her child neglect charge was upped to chronic child neglect. A further child neglect charge was laid against her concerning a 6-year-old girl, believed to be her daughter, whom she left alone in the car in cold temperatures on February 14th, when she visited Vang and Elijah. As for Vang, he already had a criminal history, including previous convictions for child abuse. He told investigators about some of his other so-called disciplinary tactics, which included that Elijah was not allowed to play with toys, as he was staying with Vang as, quote, punishment. Vang also revealed that Elijah was given a cold shower on February 17th after he had filled his nappy. Both Vang and Bauer entered not guilty pleas in relation to the child neglect charges they were facing. On March 14th, investigators revealed photographs of a beige 1997 Nissan Altima. They stated that police were in possession of the vehicle, but that they needed help tracing its movements the day before Elijah went missing. They requested that anyone with CCTV on their property take a look back at the footage to see if the Nissan Altima appeared in the hours between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. 2 weeks later, on March 18th, it was announced that Elijah's blanket, described as being made of red and white plaid, was discovered on Goodwin Road, east of County Road B, in Manitowoc County. Officials noted that the blanket had been found sooner, but had only recently been confirmed as belonging to the 3-year-old. It was found 3.7 miles from the 3900 block of Mishicot Road, where Elijah had disappeared. Two Rivers Police Chief Ben Minot told WLUK that investigators had reviewed more than 10,000 video files, conducted dozens of interviews, and followed hundreds of leads in an attempt to locate 3-year-old Elijah. Quote, "We literally went into every home, talked to everybody that lived in each home. We checked every room, every cabinet, everything in those homes. But Elijah is still missing." The 3-year-old was last seen in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, on February 20th, 2024. He is described as a half-white and half-Hmong male with sandy brown hair and brown eyes. He is 3 feet tall and weighs around 45 pounds. At the time of his disappearance, he was wearing grey jogging bottoms, a long-sleeved, dark-coloured top, and red and green dinosaur slip-on shoes. He has a birthmark on his left knee. If you have any information about Elijah's whereabouts, you can contact the Two Rivers Police Department at 844-267-6648. Khasha Smith. 35-year-old Khasha Smith was reported missing on January 5th after her concerned family members contacted the police. She was last heard from 2 months earlier on November 4th, 2023, and her loved ones found it unusual that she had not spoken to anyone in months. Khasha was last seen at her home in Calder Grove, an area of Edinburgh, Scotland, on October 10th, 2023, at the home she shared with her partner. After she was reported missing, investigators looked into a potential sighting of the mother of three in the Slateford area of the city, but were unable to confirm if the woman seen was Khasha. Following her disappearance, police searched her Calder Grove property, along with a section of the Union Canal just 100 yards from her home. Officers also combed through a nearby wooded area, along with metal containers not far from the residence. Despite using scent dogs and carrying out multiple searches of these areas, nothing of note was found. Uniformed police began distributing missing posters to locals and in stores to encourage potential witnesses to come forward. Few other details are available on the investigation, but several sources reportedly told the media that the police were concerned that something sinister had befallen Khasha. One of Khasha's children, Callie, recently turned 18 and said in a statement, "I recently had my 18th birthday and didn't hear anything from my mum. She would never miss my birthday, my sister's birthdays, or Christmas. We miss her so much. We want nothing more than for my mum to walk through the door and be able to give her a massive hug. It feels like I'm living the worst dream I could ever imagine. I can't express what it would mean to have my mum home. Even the smallest piece of information might be all we need to find her." Khasha's mother, Nicola Neal, echoed similar statements, describing how the family were, quote, sick with worry, and urging anyone with potential information to come forward. Quote, "Khasha is my friend as well as my daughter, and we are living a nightmare. It is hard for us to find the words to explain the not knowing where she is and if anything has happened to her. These past few weeks have been horrendous and painful for us all." Police, for their part, have stated that they are keeping an open mind about the disappearance, and added that they are currently combing through Khasha's bank records as part of their investigation. So far, no suspects have been named, and no persons of interest have arisen. They also stated that they are keen to speak with friends who may have information about her whereabouts before she was last seen on October 10th, 2023. In late March, cards, balloons, and flowers were attached to a fence near Khasha's home to mark her 36th birthday. Khasha is described as a white woman with long blonde hair and blue eyes. She is 5 foot tall and of a slim build, and has several tattoos, one of which is the word forever on her right wrist. She worked at Edinburgh College before she went missing, and is known to frequent the areas of Georgie, Broomhouse, and Wester Hales in the city. If you have any information about Khasha's disappearance and reside in Scotland, you can contact Police Scotland on 101. If you are outside of Scotland but still in the UK, you can contact them at 0141 308 1070. Sebastian Rogers. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee on the morning of February 26th, when his mother went to wake him up for school, only to find his bed empty. Katie Proudfoot, Sebastian's mother, said on the night of the 25th, Sebastian took out the trash at the end of the driveway. At around 9 p.m., he was told to go to bed. Katie recalled, quote, "He was doing something in his room, because about an hour later, I heard some noise, and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." She described her son as having high-functioning autism and being very smart and not mischievous by any means. At 6 a.m. the following morning, she discovered that he was missing. She first called her husband, Sebastian's stepfather, Chris, and stated, "I can't find him." Chris replied, "What do you mean you can't find him?" Katie recalled answering, "He's not in the house." She searched the entire property from top to bottom, but there was no sign of the 15-year-old. Sebastian has no history of running away from home, and when asked if he had simply wandered off, Katie replied, "I don't know why he walked out that door." After reporting his disappearance to the police, an Amber Alert was issued to locals to help try and track him down. Over the next few months, both state and local police, along with 1,500 volunteers, helped to search for the missing teenager. They used helicopters, drones, and the K9 unit, while officers on foot combed through fields, abandoned buildings, and any place that a teenager might hide. Authorities even, at one point, played his favorite song, Eye of the Tiger, while they searched for him, hoping it would draw him out. But still there was no sign of the missing boy. Soon, investigators were meticulously raking through the landfill where the trash from Sebastian's home had ended up. Authorities described this search as a precautionary measure to eliminate possible options and questions. On March 23rd, the volunteer organization, the United Cajun Navy, revealed that a team was being sent to help in the search for Sebastian after being approached by Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father. On April 1st, however, The Independent reported that the group received death threats over its involvement in the case. Although the team stopped searches for Sebastian, it continued to work on the case behind the scenes. A spokesperson for the group stated, "We've never had the situation occur before," referring to the received death threats. The spokesperson added, "No volunteers' information is ever given out or anything like that, but these folks can certainly arrive on scene and cause a problem and a ruckus." On March 25th, Sebastian's mother admitted her fear that her son had been taken by someone, stating, quote, "I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would have found him by now, with as many people as have been searching. Notably, Sebastian had left his family's home without a pair of shoes." 10 weeks after the disappearance, reports came in that a pair of trousers were located by Goodlettsville police and were initially thought to belong to Sebastian. However, upon examination, they were ruled out as belonging to the 15-year-old. Details about the trousers, including a description or where they were found, are unclear. 2 months later, in May, a photo emerged online which showed a boy resembling Sebastian at an underpass in North Carolina. His biological father, Seth, told the media that he was convinced the boy in the photograph was his son and called for the FBI to become involved in the investigation. The police, however, disagreed, stating that the boy shown was not Sebastian. They had reached this conclusion after working with the North Carolina authorities to track the boy down. Seth Rogers has since hired a private investigator. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers was last seen on the night of February 25th, 2024, at his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He is described as a white male with brown hair and brown eyes. He is 5'5" and weighs around 120 pounds. When he was last seen, he was wearing a black sweatshirt, black jogging bottoms, and glasses. He is described as having high-functioning autism. Anyone with information about his case can contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-442-1865. You can also email Detective Carter at bcarter@sumnersheriff.com. And there you have the facts. Please leave a comment down below with your own theories and speculations, and remember to like this video and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching. Stay alert, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.